What's up, guys? Welcome back. So today I want to talk about anxiety and sensitivity and all the things that anxiety made me sensitive to and the things that it can make you sensitive to. There might be a couple things in here that you never really thought of and you're like, wow, yeah, I actually am really sensitive to that, because it's not just about symptoms. I'm going to cover the symptoms, of course. That's what many of you are primarily sensitive to, but there's a lot of other things that anxiety can affect as well. So we're going to jump into that in just a second, but you know what time it is. Smash the like button down below if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt. That's what we're going to do today. And the question of the day, what are the top 3 things that anxiety makes you sensitive to? What are the top 3 things that you are sensitive to due to your anxiety? So obviously symptoms, guys. Whenever I was going through my anxiety disorder, I was having a lot of panic attacks. And I mentioned this in a couple videos ago when I was talking about desensitizing your nervous system. We get into this sensitive state where our nervous system is overstimulated, right? And it makes us feel things all over our body that might have not even been possible to feel before you develop that sensitivity. You can feel things in your body so much more than this person over here that doesn't have anxiety, isn't dealing with anxiety disorder or panic attacks or anything like that. And for me, and like many of you, whenever anxiety first starts, that's whenever it's at its worst, right? Because we don't have any awareness. We don't know what this is. We think it could be a health problem, a heart problem, something like that. And we just freak out. For many of you, this is whenever you're not really getting any sleep and insomnia is at its worst. For many of you, this is whenever you're caught up in a vicious cycle of not just symptoms, but anxiety attacks and panic attacks. And that's how it was for me, especially in the first few months. But to be honest, the first couple years were really bad. And I was dealing with all the symptoms and everything. But our cortisol goes up, right? And then our adrenaline, if you're having a lot of fight or flight symptoms like I was, goes up, and those numbers can remain elevated. And the problem is I wasn't doing anything that I needed to be doing for my anxiety, partially because I had a hard time accepting it was anxiety. So when your stress hormones get elevated and they accumulate in your body, this is going to cause you to be very overstimulated, very hypersensitive. But something else that you're doing, guys, is you're looking for symptoms. I was looking for them around the corner all the time. Even whenever they weren't there, I would look for them and sabotage myself. I was always body scanning. I was always checking my heart rate, checking my blood pressure. I was always looking at my eyes. I was always trying to see, am I seeing things the right way? Does this hand look bigger than this hand? I mean, the most ridiculous things. I was just constantly looking and searching. So this brought my awareness up, and guess what? It also brought my hypersensitivity up. But guys, the symptoms that I would feel, of course, like my heart rate. You know, sure, in the beginning I was checking with my fingers, right? We didn't have Apple Watches back then, anything like that, thank goodness. But I would always be doing this, right? But my sensitivity got so bad that I could literally just sit here and count my heart rate. You know, that's how in tune with my body I was. I could feel food going through my digestive system. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking about just general fullness and like I could tell where my food, what process it was in of digestion, right? I could feel all that, every bubble, every gurgle, every weird sensation, you know, every sensation in my head, anything in my body, weird jolts, weird shocks, weird twitches, any tension that you're going to carry, guys, it's going to feel so much more painful than what it is. And I think something else that happens, and this is just my opinion, guys, you know, these videos are from my experience and what I view, you know, or my point of view, excuse me. And I think honestly, it's like it almost makes our pain threshold go down. You know what I mean? At least I feel like that's what it did for me. I guess that's just your sensitivity being high. But I was feeling any and every symptom. And once you put your focus on it, that symptom intensifies. How many times have you feared a symptom? And it could be anything, the most ridiculous thing, like a simple twitch in your hand, or a weird sensation in your leg, or just a sensation of your stomach being full, or feeling like you're restricted whenever it comes to breathing, and you focus on it and you fear it and you give a fearful response and you give it all this attention. You're sending signals to that area. You're sending tension to certain areas to tighten up. You're sending attention to that twitch you're sending signals there for it to continue. I really do believe that, because I saw it with myself. Not making this stuff up. I'm not crazy. You're not crazy. You know, me explaining this to other people that didn't have anxiety, I'd get a lot of weird looks and puzzled looks or whatever. But I was controlling symptoms to certain areas via my attention and focus. You know, it just depended what cycle I was in. It depended on what disease I was worried about, you know, that day. You know, if I was just focused in on my chest and my heart, guess what? My chest would stay tight. It would hurt. You know, my heart would race. My blood pressure would be high. You know, I'd feel little flutters and butterflies in my chest. I'd feel shooting pains, crushing pains, radiating pain. It would move all over. Sometimes it'd be in the same place. And at best, guys, those first couple years, every day, I at the very least, would have a dull ache just to remind me, hey, I'm still here. Maybe there's something wrong with your heart. And that was from my focus and my fear, and I was living, and that's why you have to change your behaviors. I was living like a heart patient, so those are the symptoms that I got. Don't live like a patient to the disease that you're fearing, that doctors have told you don't have, because you're just confirming to the subconscious that signals and need to go to that area, or attention needs to go to that area, and an already nervous system needs to be more stimulated in that part of your body. We're already fighting an uphill battle, but when you put fear and focus in on certain little areas, it can just make things worse, right? So we want to get that fixed, and we want to change that behavior. But there's other things, guys, aside from symptoms. Sounds, noises. Guys, I wasn't like this so much before, I'm not saying I never got scared or startled or anything like that, but if somebody honked a horn, I wouldn't freak out. Guys, whenever I was going through my anxiety disorder, somebody honked a horn, I would jump, and I would get instantly angry. You know what I mean? Regardless of the reason. If anybody came up and scared me or tried to spook me or sneak it behind me and do I would jump, and then I would get angry. And part of it was because I got embarrassed, because I would jump out of my skin. You know what I mean? And I think some of that is we're just always in our head. We're always thinking, or we're focused on our symptoms and not so much of the outside world, that whenever something like a loud noise happens, it makes us jump. And also, I think you combine that with the fact that we're always waiting for something bad to happen, and we are anticipating it, and a loud noise almost can confirm it. It's almost like we have PTSD, or we just got back from freaking battle. You know what I mean? So we're shell-shocked, so we need a loud noise or fireworks or slamming doors would get me. I would be sensitive to somebody else arguing or fighting. I would start to take on their emotions. So loud noises, other people arguing, sensitive to certain movies, whether they be sad or they're intense, or action movies, or definitely if it was something like somebody having a heart attack or going through a disease, it's I would have sympathy symptoms, and I would take on the emotions of the movie. Music. It was anything that I would consume, any media that I consumed, I was very sensitive to it. I'm happy TikTok and stuff like that wasn't around whenever I was going through all this stuff. And I hear all the stories from people that I talk to on the phone all the time, they had to get off of TikTok. Their algorithm was perfectly designed to freak them out every day. I thought it was anxiety too, and it turned out to be stage 4 cancer. And that's all they see is just testimonies and stories. It just keeps you wrapped up in fear, because they made a mistake of looking at that stuff for a few days. That's all it takes. And then your algorithm's just driven towards that. Certain YouTube videos and things like that. It just depends on your algorithm and your watching history. But I was sensitive to that stuff. Sensitive to smells, certain smells. Even smells that I used to find oddly satisfying, like a cigarette. I know that sounds weird, but I think nostalgia, I know it's not good to get secondhand smoke, but there were some smokers in my family when I was younger, and it's just nostalgic. But once I had anxiety, it would make me feel weird, make me feel off. The smell of gasoline, one of those weird, oddly satisfying smells to me. I used to like going to the gas station and then smelling that. I don't know why. I know it's weird. I'm sure some of you can relate. That smell would trigger me. Lighting is another huge one. I should have mentioned this before some of you probably clicked off. Lighting is a big one. The fluorescent lighting, the ones that you go, whenever you go to the store, right? Those lights up there, they're really bright. We're sensitive to that. And you're already probably dealing with some eye sensitivity and light sensitivity to begin with. But those really bright lights can trigger a lot of you. Speaking of light, I remember a big part of my driving anxiety was like driving on the road and the light going through the trees whenever the sun was setting or coming up, and it would just give you this strobe effect. I was always worried that was going to cause me to have a seizure or faint or pass out or something. So I was sensitive to even things like that, but sensitive to stories, hearing about people, dying or somebody getting a disease or cancer. It would freak me out. I'd take on sympathy symptoms, articles, anything, guys, you name it. Foods, certain foods. I couldn't eat certain foods after my anxiety got so bad. I guess it's not a bad thing because for the most part, that kind of changed my diet for the rest of my life. I kind of switched over to more of like a keto lifestyle, cut down on some of the carbs and the processed food. I'm not perfect. I'm not a Greek god over here or anything like that. But I'm a lot healthier for it, and I probably extended my life by doing that, switching over to that. You know, I was always eating greasy foods, fried foods, fast foods, burgers, fries, pizza, all that good stuff. And I'm not saying you should never indulge every once in a while, but I was doing it all the time. I was young, I had a fast metabolism, I could get away with it. But whenever I had anxiety, I was so much more sensitive to those foods. It was hard for me to tolerate it. I would have horrible IBS symptoms and gas and diarrhea and constipation, all that fun stuff. So I'd start switching my diet up. I didn't want to at the time, but I had to, you know. But I was sensitive to things like that. And in medications and certain things like that. Now, I'm not talking about anxiety medication personally, but I know a lot of you have maybe experienced some of that as well. I don't have really any experience with anxiety medication. I was nervous to take it. And that's not saying that you shouldn't try it or anything like that. I'm just not even going to go down that route. Talk to your doctor about all that. I did everything naturally because that was just my choice. But sensitivity to even things like vitamins or supplements, caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, like sensitivity to all those things, guys. Like having a soda, man, would give me the shakes sometimes. Or, you know, I wasn't a huge coffee drinker back then. I'd have it every once in a while, but even like I stopped doing that. Nicotine was something that I had to put down for a very long time during that stretch. Alcohol was something that I had to stop for a long time because I would have horrible anxiety the next day. So anxiety made me sensitive to a lot of things outside of just, you know, symptoms and stuff like that. It was the outside world. I was sensitive to anything that would, you know, take me to opposite spectrums on an emotional scale. Sad. This is nuts. But even like things that would excite me would then make me feel anxious. I know that sounds weird, but even things that were supposed to be exciting or fun, like if I remember like laughing at somebody's joke, just like really laughing, and then my heart rate would go up a little bit, or my stomach would feel a little bit weird. You ever laugh so hard it kind of hurts? Did that a few times. Threw me into a freaking panic attack doing that. Believe it or not, I'm not making this up. Just having an exciting opportunity, right? Like, oh, you got this job, or I'm gonna date this girl, or this girl's talking to me, and things like that. Things that like make me excited. I'm not gonna go into great detail, but even sexual stuff would trigger me and cause me to have a panic attack. Like I went through a stretch with that, and I know some of you fellas out there and ladies, you're not alone. Anything that got me excited like that and make my heart rate go up and everything like that, not to mention just the pressure of wanting things to be right, would cause panic. And that's a hellacious thing to have to go through. And you know who you are. But that gets better. All of this gets better though, once we start to desensitize. And that's through doing, you know, all the things that I talked about in a couple videos ago. I gave a lot of tips on that. Obviously getting the nerves out via exercise, cold showers, things like that. Challenging symptoms can help. But then also on the opposite spectrum, mixing in some good relaxing techniques via meditation, any form of mindfulness, self-regulation, progressive muscle relaxation exercises, just anything that can relax the body. For some of you, breathing techniques work really great. For others, it doesn't, you know. But then being patient with all these tools too. It takes time. The lighting has gotten really weird on this video, but those are some things that can help. And I'm not going to go into a ton of detail. Check out the video from a couple of days ago, desensitizing your nervous system. I gave you a more explanation. I just wanted to talk about the things that you could be sensitive to in this video, and I gave you a bunch of them. If there's some that I left out, let me know down below. I think I covered a lot. But if you watch this far in the video, go down below in the comment section. I want you to put in all caps, anxiety can make us sensitive. Anxiety can make us sensitive. If you want more help with your recovery process, guys, please go down in the description and in the first pinned comment. I'm putting my course, Elite Anxiety Bootcamp, down there. It's changing a lot of people's lives. Be a part of that. It's going to give you a step-by-step process on how I got a panic disorder, health anxiety, and generalized anxiety disorder. It took a good bit of time, but I compiled everything into that course. Close to 100 videos that take you step-by-step, a lot of downloadable materials. My coaching information is down below. If you are new here, please subscribe, and please give this video a like if you got some value today. And I will be talking to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.